Today, we're going to journey into a story of truly cosmic proportions. It all starts with a world literally crying out for a hero and a divine promise for a savior. But, and this is a big but, it's also a story about a terrifying prophecy, one that's going to twist the bonds of family and turn a brother's deep, deep love into a tyrant's absolute fear. It's a story that really makes you ask, what would you sacrifice when faced with an impossible choice?
And that right there, that's the heart of it, isn't it? It's this massive paradox that's going to shape the destiny of gods and mortals, a collision of hope and dread. I mean, think about it. How do you even begin to deal with a promise that's meant to save the entire world, but is also a prophecy that says you, personally, are doomed? Let's dive into this incredibly powerful tale.
So to really get a handle on the human drama that's about to unfold, we first have to understand the cosmic stakes. Our story kicks off in this ancient time, in a world that's just teetering on the edge of chaos. This was an age where powerful demons, some of them even posing as kings, had completely overrun civilization. The very fabric of the earth was just groaning under the weight of so much cruelty.
And the way the story is told, man, it's a gut punch. The atrocities committed by these demonic forces just became so constant, so unbearable, that Mother Earth herself couldn't take the pain anymore. In her absolute agony, she took the form of a cow, a sacred symbol of gentleness and life. And with tears just streaming down her face, she went to find the architect of the universe, the creator, Bhagwan Brahmadeva.
And you can just feel the desperation in her plea. This isn't just a complaint, it's a cry for help from the soul of the planet. The source material describes her as crying piteously and trembling with fear and rage. I mean, what an image, right? The very foundation of our world, embodied as this gentle creature literally shaking from the trauma, just begging the creator to step in before everything is lost.
So Brahmadeva hears her, and he's deeply moved. Now, in the Hindu tradition, you've got Brahma, who's the creator. But when things need fixing, when balance needs to be restored, well, that's the job of Bhagwan Vishnu, who's also known as Narayana. He's the preserver, the protector. And Brahma knew that this crisis was way beyond his power to solve alone. To save the world, they needed the ultimate protector. The plan was clear. They had to go to Narayana.
So picture this, a great assembly of the gods, the Devas, led by both Brahmadeva and the powerful Bhagwan Shiva. They all journey to Kshirshagar, the celestial milky ocean where Narayana rests. And there they just pour out their hearts in prayer, presenting Mother Earth's desperate case. And Narayana, in his sweet, soothing voice, tells them that he already knows all about the world's suffering. And then he makes a promise that will change the course of history.
And just like that, hope was back. And this wasn't some vague promise. Oh no, the plan was super specific. Narayana himself would come down from the heavens and be born on Earth as a human. He'd be born into the great Yadu clan, to a noble couple named Devaki and Vasudeva. And get this, he wasn't coming alone. The other gods were told to also take birth in the same clan to help him with his mission. With this divine promise ringing in their ears, Mother Earth and the gods went home, just filled with this incredible sense of relief and joy.
All right, so let's zoom in now. We're leaving that cosmic stage for a bit and landing right in the middle of a huge, happy celebration on Earth. The scene is a magnificent royal wedding in the kingdom of Mathura. The air is just filled with music and laughter. It's a really joyous occasion. And it's right here, in all this splendor, that our key players are about to converge.
Okay, so let's meet the two people at the center of all this. On one side, you've got Kamsa, the powerful, ambitious prince of Mathura. The original story describes him as being demonic by nature. But, and this is a fascinating contradiction, he absolutely, genuinely loves his cousin, Devaki. On the other side is Devaki, who is marrying the virtuous Vasudeva, a man known everywhere for being rock-solid truthful. This complex relationship, this mix of a demonic but loving brother and his good-hearted cousin, well, it's a powder keg just waiting for a spark. And if you want to get a sense of just how much Kamsa loved his cousin sister, just look at the wedding gift. He gave her 400 magnificently decorated elephants, and 160,000 horses, and 100 gold-plated chariots. This wasn't just a gift, it was a massive public statement of how much he cared for her.
But it wasn't just about the gifts. As the vibrant wedding procession started making its way through the cheering crowds, Kamsa did something that, for a prince, was just unheard of. He personally took the reins of his sister's chariot. He chose to be her driver, to take her to her new home himself. It was the ultimate gesture of brotherly love, a really clear sign that, despite his darker side, he absolutely adored his sister Devaki.
So you've got this perfect scene, right? The wedding procession is moving through the streets. It's a river of color and sound. Kamsa's proudly driving the chariot, smiling at his beloved sister. The world is perfect. And then, bam! In a single, heart-stopping, terrifying instant, everything changes.
Suddenly, this voice, an Akashwani, just booms from the heavens, and its message is aimed directly and mercilessly at Kamsa. Can you just imagine the shock of that moment? In front of everyone, this voice calls him a fool. It points out how much he loves his sister, only to then weaponize that love, delivering this devastating prophecy. The 8th son born to the very woman you cherish, he will be the one to kill you.
And just like that, snap. The transformation was instantaneous and absolutely terrifying. The deep love Kamsa felt just moments before was just gone. It was completely swallowed by this tidal wave of anger, hatred, and mortal fear. In that one moment, the loving brother vanished, and a terrified tyrant took his place. He dropped the reins, and with a roar, he grabbed his sister Devaki by her hair, drew his sword, and was ready to kill her right there on the spot. His logic was simple and brutal. No Devaki, no sons, no death for him.
Okay, so just imagine this scene. It's pure chaos, pure horror. A bride, on her wedding day, is about to be murdered by the brother who just moments ago was showing her so much love. Her new husband, Vasudev, sees this monstrous change, and he knows he has only seconds to do something. The choices he makes in these next few moments will decide everything.
You can imagine Vasudev just watching this happen, his mind racing. His first thought is, okay, I gotta reason with him. He tries to appeal to Kamsa's better nature, reminding him of his duty, his love for Devaki. But the story is clear. The words had zero effect. Fear had made Kamsa completely deaf to any appeal to love or honor. He wasn't a brother anymore. He was a cornered animal, ready to do anything to survive. So when Vasudev realizes that pleading is useless, he pivots. And what he does next is just brilliant, in a terrifying kind of way. He doesn't fight Kamsa's fear. He redirects it. He calmly points out that Devaki herself isn't the threat. The prophecy was about her future son. It was a really smart psychological move, isolating the thing Kamsa was so afraid of. And then, with what must have been the heaviest heart, Vasudev makes this unthinkable, heartbreaking offer. He swears an oath to hand over every single child born to them, delivering the source of the prophecy right into Kamsa's hands.
And believe it or not, it worked. Kamsa, who's just thinking about saving his own skin, sees this as the perfect out. He knew Vasudev was a man of his word, famous for his truthfulness. If Vasudev promised, he'd follow through. With the threat now seemingly under control, the tyrant felt this wave of relief. He lets go of Devaki's hair, puts his sword away, and lets them go home. Vasudev had just saved his wife's life, but in doing so, he'd locked them into an unimaginable future of grief.
So what do we take away from all this? Well, this incredible story, which starts with the gods and ends with this terrifying human bargain, has some pretty profound lessons. The whole thing is really about Dharma, which is a complex idea, but you can think of it as your duty, your righteous path. And it really forces us to think about how you navigate your Dharma when you're faced with impossible choices, in a world that seems to be governed by fate. You know, they say a crisis doesn't build character, it reveals it. And wow, did it ever hear. The crisis showed that Kamsa's love was conditional, that it was selfish, while it highlighted Vasudev's incredible cool-headedness and strategic mind. We see just how powerful fear is, how it can poison even the deepest love and turn a doting brother into a killer in a heartbeat. And maybe the most heartbreaking part is watching Vasudev's agonizing Dharma. To do his main duty, protecting his wife, he was forced to make a terrible choice, promising to sacrifice his own kids. It's just a powerful, timeless lesson on the tough roads that good people sometimes have to walk. And that's where we're left, with this huge, hanging question. Kamsa thinks he's beaten fate, that he's turned a prophecy into a manageable deal. Vasudev and Devaki are safe for now, but they're living under the shadow of this horrible promise. And the divine child, the savior of the world, is still destined to be born. All the pieces are in motion, set by that voice from the sky. Which leaves us to wonder, when destiny has been spoken out loud, is trying to fight it a heroic act, or is it just pure folly?